Hi, Mark. I'm here to review a film called Blood Feast. Blood Feast was released in 1963 and it was directed by Horschel. It was directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis. And he also directed a film called Color Me Blood Red. I'm not a fan of that one. But anyway, Blood Feast. I didn't take any notes for this one either. Um, still trying it out. Still trying to test the waters and see if I like it with or with notes better. You know, I've done a few with notes, a few without notes. Anyway, um, so Blood Feast is ridiculous. I mean, this is one of the worst movies ever. I mean, it has to be. The acting in this movie is insanely bad. But it's just so fun. Like, yes, it's bad, but it's bad in a good way. You know, kind of like Troll 2. Um, I would say Troll 2 is a little better as far as being so bad it's good, you know. I probably prefer watching Troll 2, but Blood Feast is interesting for a few different reasons. Like I said, the acting is absolutely terrible in this movie. The killer, played by Mal Arnold, the killer's name in the film is Fuad Ramses, and this man is a human cartoon. I mean, genuinely. He is ridiculous. His expressions are on a different plane of existence. And his eyebrows are, they're pretty perfect. I have to admit. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. He has these ridiculous looking eyebrows. And they crack me up every time I watch this movie, man. And the way he acts too. Like when the girl's mom goes in to plan her party and to talk to Fuad Ramses about it, Fuad Ramses is acting sketchy as fuck. No one cares though. No one seems to give a shit. Even though he's so clearly plotting something. Like, if this guy isn't a murderer, I don't know who is a murderer. Genuinely. It's amazing. I mean, he's sitting there rubbing his hands together, like rubbing his hands maniacally. And you know, like he'll say something and the mom will be like, "What? What was that?" He'll be like, "Oh, nothing. Nothing. I didn't say anything weird. That's okay. Nothing. Nothing. Come on. Fuad Ramses. Trust me." I'm totally not gonna chop up people and feed them to you. Oh my god, this movie is so bad, but it's so incredible. And then the acting from the rest of the cast, like from the female members of the cast, like the girl and her mother and some of the victims, the best way I can describe it is like if buzzed up 60s housewives were actors in a 90s sitcom, but they stopped caring like halfway through the season and they started imitating the child actor on set. That is my best description of the way the acting is in this movie. And it's amazing. I mean, it really is. And then there's the cops. They're another level of bad acting too. And not only are they another level of bad acting, that's another level of bad detective work. Are you kidding me? There's one scene where, like, they're supposed to be, mad about the killer and how he keeps getting away, and one of them goes, "He's uncanny." It's like, this guy's uncanny. He never leaves behind anything, not a fingerprint, not nothing. And this is ridiculous. It's all ridiculous, because this guy, not only would he leave behind fingerprints, because he never wears gloves, and he doesn't wipe anything off when he's done touching it. Because, it shows us these murder scenes. And in these murder scenes, he kills the person and he runs away. He doesn't have time to wipe anything off, so his fingerprints would be all over the place. Not only that, but there's a scene where he kills a woman on the beach. Well, he doesn't wear a mask, so this chick's boyfriend sees his face. Now, of course, the boyfriend is stupid, and he can't recall what the guy looks like at all. But then, on top of that, there's footprints in the sand. And Fuad Ramses walks with a limp. So there's like one set of footprints, like one foot. And then on the other side, it's a trail where he had been dragging his other foot. I think that's a pretty worthwhile clue to examine. Do you not, Mr. Police Officer? Mr. Detective? Man. It's really bad. But it is super fun. And then just the way he pieces everything together in the end, like, we know how you came to this conclusion. We understand. It was so incredibly obvious. It was right under your nose the whole time. Yeah, no, we get it. But he still does the psycho thing and explains it to us. And he just sits there and explains the whole thing. And a lot of this, it's like, that's how you came up with this? Because it feels very much so like he is making way too many assumptions. And also, they broke into that guy's store with no search warrant. There was no search warrant. Don't think the store was open, because Fuad Ramses was out. And they went into the back room. Granted, they were correct on their assumption, but they had no warrant. So basically, this movie is the most nonsensical, insane movie I've ever seen. There is one thing about this movie that's kind of weird to me, other than that this movie is just weird and crazy. But the thing that's especially weird to me is that this movie came out only 3 years after Psycho. Now, Psycho is a much better film than Blood Feast. By at least 9,000 times. However, Blood Feast is so insanely graphic. I mean, granted, the special effects, the practicals all look pretty dog shit. But still. Like, people got mad because a toilet flushed in Psycho. And then 3 years later, you have an old guy hacking people up with a machete and cutting a chick's tongue out of her face. And hacking a chick's brains out of her head. And it's all super graphic. Like, this is one of the first splatter movies. Splatter being the key word here. So I really don't know. I don't know how this would have passed in 1963. But it did, thankfully, because I do like this movie. It is definitely a so bad it's good movie. And it is a fun watch. And it's really quick, too. That's another thing I really like about Blood Feast, is it's only like an hour and 3 minutes, I think. Sorry guys, I'm looking. Hour and 7. It's an hour and 7 minutes long, and I'm sure that includes the credits. So realistically, probably only an hour and 4 or an hour and 3. So, I mean, Blood Feast is insanely short. It's very fun. It's just an easy movie to get through. If you've never seen Blood Feast and you like crappy movies and you like cheesy gore effects and terrible acting, I mean, if you like Troll 2 acting, you'll like this movie probably. Oh. My dog's Lucio is taking a nap behind me, and he's barking in his sleep. Well, he's barking without opening his mouth, so it's like it's coming from like his throat, and it's like sorry, he's adorable. Anyway, so I think the only way to rate this movie is with a sarcastic 10 out of 10. I think that's the only way to do it, because I can't rate this movie as a film, because then it would be like a 2. I can't rate this movie based on personal enjoyment, because I feel as though that would be... I don't know, like, it wouldn't be right. I don't ever feel that it's necessarily right to rate a film purely based on your personal enjoyment. And I can't really do a mixture of the two, because this is such a bad movie. And so I feel the only fair rating to give Blood Feast 1963 is a sarcastic 10 out of 10. It's not a 10 movie, guys. I do recommend it if you like very bad movies. But yeah, that's gonna be about it for this one, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.